actually. I don't think we should remove it because it's an exciting forum. It's an exciting moment in Formula One. It's true that I also forgot once or twice to do the prediction of the poll, but it's a nice addition. But maybe the problem is that it's just 1 point, and not everyone understands the importance of that 1 point. So what could be a solution is making, for example, making it to 3 or 4 questions where you have who's on pole, maybe who finishes last, driver X is in the top 10, I don't know, something like that. So if you have 3 or 4 points to win, I think more people will really think about the forum, because now it's true, it's just 1 point. It can make a difference, but it also cannot make a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In terms of motivation, as you
That's
said.
really nice. Well, yeah. I kind of like that actually. Like I think it's nice, and even not even needing to be just who gets first, who gets third, who gets fifth. No, I think it would be actually nice to have something like name a driver that would be out in Q1, name a driver that
Yeah,
would be out in Q2.
exactly.
So those kinds of things, but not too big. So like you said, like 3 or 4 questions, nothing too much, because then it starts to be too big of a thing to do again. So yeah, I think it needs to be something small, but with a few more points, because 1 point really seems like 1 point. Yeah, I just missed a point. No bad. If it starts being 3 or 4 points, people are gonna think, I DNF, and this guy got 3 points or four, and I could have gotten 3 or 4 points. You
Exactly.
know, it can change things. I agree with Thomas in that sense.
If I may, going back to the cup, um, we know that now there are less people in the cup. That's true because people got eliminated, and also in the cup, you usually know that we're talking about only 3 more rounds. So yeah, we have Hungary, we have Austin, and we have Vegas. Um, Here, for example, do you let me rephrase what I'm about to say. How difficult do you think that it is, for example, having 3 additional forms? Because that's what we're speaking about. 3 additional forms, but it's not even 3 additional forms for everyone, right? Because in a cup you get eliminated. So my question is, do you think that even the cup is something extra? We already heard, for example, Noon saying that it is something positive. Thomas was less fan, let's say, or less supportive. But until what point do you think that, for example, having still the cup for the ones that are playing can be still motivating? And let me add something on this. The people that are playing cup and championship may be a little more, maybe it can be a bit more difficult to actually manage in terms of, emotions and so on, because the people that are only playing championship and the aligned categories within, it can be a bit easier than actually just playing for cup and championship. I mean, I'm asking you guys, what do you feel about this? Do you think that it is really linear, or it's nothing to do? It's just an additional it's just an extra form that it takes more time, 12 more questions, 12 more times the energy that we should put on this. How do you feel about that? Maybe I'll start with Thomas.
Yeah, what you were saying, I think really the problem is still that we have multiple forms for a Sunday.
Okay.
So maybe it's just random ideas I have in my head. You do what you want after, but what if you just have one form for the Sunday, and with some questions in the forum, you add something like this one counts also for F1 Cup. So people might think more about a specific question of the forums, make more risks or even less risks,
Mm-hmm.
do more strategy about some questions in the forum. But then you have just one forum, you have everything you need for the Sunday, and you can make results for the cup. You just filter the questions you have for the cup, and it's okay like that. Why not something like that? Because when you have to think about two forms, it's a mess, man. It's a mess.
I mean, before going to Nuno with the same question, what Thomas is saying is not that. How can I say? What you're saying actually, I think is if
Yeah,
not
I
100%.
understood what he's saying. Like, may I interrupt you? I think it took the words out of my mouth, kind of, because I was gonna say it before I said it. I think you can make everything in a form, and you don't even need to make like joint questions. So this also comes from the tech. No, you can actually make in the form, maybe. I don't know if it's possible, or even mixed in the form the championship questions, and then you can have another bracket, or like from some point onwards, you have the cup questions, and everything is in the same one. You know, I think that is what Thomas was kind of wanting to say, and I
Yeah.
think that is a really nice solution for the too many forms problem. You just either make it, okay, first 20 questions or 30 are championship, and then you have 10 questions for the cup in the end. Or you just mix them in the middle, which will also be nice because you're just, I'm doing championship, then you get a surprise cup question, and now you have to take go. So you just highlight it, cup question or something, or cup. I don't know. You just highlight the question differently to for people to understand that is a cup question, or you just make two different categories inside of the same form. I think that would be nice, and would really eliminate the too many forms dilemma at least, and keeping the cup a thing, which for me is important at least. I really like the cup, and maybe Thomas is not of the same opinion, which I respect because for some people it might be too much. I really like it. I like the competition that it brings. So I think the cup is something that could maintain. Just try to manage the forms in a different way.
Okay.
I
Um,
agree. I do agree. And the thing is, I'm not focused on the cup, but if you integrate the cup questions with just a normal Sunday, it won't feel like an extra, which it does now.
but would you say then that
Yeah,
it would change the motivation of people, like only having one form, which includes
I
both
really
comp?
think that that will
I
solve.
think it would decrease. It would decrease the DNF rate at least.
Okay. Okay. It's funny that you guys are saying that because for example, in the first round, I know that there were a lot of DNFs. We had two DNFs in the first group, two DNFs in the second group, and one DNF in the third group. After that, I see that there was kind of stable. We didn't have any other DNFs, despite I think it was Fast Sonic, if I'm not mistaken, in the third round. So that's it, actually. I think you guys may be right. The fact that we can include both competitions in one form, I think it would be very, very interesting to save energy, saving time, and saving motivation as well, to give it up a boost. So, yeah, I think it's very interesting what you guys have been mentioning. So, thanks for that as well. But let's just focus now, for example, in the rate of DNFs. I was making a comparison between the last year and until round 8, we had something around 27 DNFs. At the same round, we have 61. Now, this can be explained somehow because, for example, there are DNFs that are being given with three different forms, so that also plays a crucial role. But in your opinion, do you think that the fact that we already have 61 at this point is something that we should be worried because also we have less players playing, less drivers, sorry, racing than the last year? Or is it just something that has to do with what we were talking about? The fact that the more forms, the less energy, the less motivation, it can also play a role on this. What what is your opinion on this, guys? Maybe I'll start with
I
Nuno.
I think the correlation here is like correlation is causation here. I think the amount of forms really affects the DNF rate. I think there's more DNFs because there's more forms, and therefore people forget or just are not motivated enough to put everything or like to fill every form. Maybe some people just say, I'll just do the championship and the cup. I lost the first two games, so it doesn't really matter for me. I'll do it. Or just the composition, it's just the point, doesn't matter. So I think, yeah, I think the amount of forms really affects the DNF rate. I think we have more because of it, like directly. I think it's not the problem of the drivers here. I don't think we have like drivers who don't care or are super demotivated. I don't think that's the issue. So I think if I mean, Obviously, until the end of the season, we have to keep the format. I don't think it would make sense to change it now. So I think we should keep like this until the end of the season to really make a good assessment of it. But uh, I think next season, reduction of forms would be a good thing if possible. I mean, obviously, I don't think you can join the pole position one to the race one. So I think at most two forms, one for the pole position with the changes we proposed, and one for the race with the cup implemented, and maybe the elimination of the epic races and bringing back the team dynamics. I think that's maybe the important here. If I answered your question correctly, I don't know if you want me to add something more related to the DNF thing.
I mean, me or Thomas. Sorry. Wait, I think I lost him. Ah, I hear you. Sorry. You were saying? I didn't understand what you were saying. If I had something to add on what you were saying, or if you were saying like Thomas had something to add on what you were saying.
No, no, no. I was asking you if I think I answered how you wanted. I was asking you if there was something more specific you want me to say about the TNF questions,
No,
or
no,
if I told everything.
no. Yeah, yeah. You
I
were.
think I did. But
Yeah, yeah. No, you were direct and then straight on my question. I wanted to ask the same to Thomas, but just adding the following. If you see here, Thomas, for example, this year you have someone that actually gave her first DNF ever, Ragazza. And it's interesting because if you compare like how can I say, the two biggest extremes, the biggest contrast in the DNFs. You see the Ragazza, for example, with one, and she's not the only one. We see also Jimmy Leakey, for example, with one, Salada with one as well. Then you have someone with 15, which is not even in the main championship. So we're talking about Lontro do Pantano, which has 15. Do you think that this plays also a role, or you pretty much share the same opinion with Nuno, Thomas?
I just think that the DNFs is related to everything we have said before in this session. First of all, like Nuno said, the